I will now talk about different settings and customization options. Avaz is highly customizable. All buttons can be individually edited, moved, hidden, or deleted, and new buttons can be added anywhere. Within a folder you can choose to have it ordered alphabetically. Avaz has the option of 3 visual themes, light, dark, or outer space. Cell color coding can be turned on or off, or you can choose to have a colored stripe at the top of the cell. There does not appear to be an option to change the skin tone of the symbols. Text size can be edited, and you have the option of text above or below the symbol. The message box can be edited to include symbols or text only, and you can customize the sidebar. You can edit the grid size of individual pages. You cannot, however, change the size of individual cells. You can turn on Auto Home, which means after a button is selected, it takes you back to the home page. This can support motor planning. You can modify how grammar appears. You can choose between Speak Everything, Describe, Read Things, Pencil, Red Pencil, Speak Words, Red Pencil, Red Pencil, or Speak Only Message Box, Red Pencil, and can turn on Speak Action Keys, Clear. There are some available touch modifications including options for select on release, stop, hold duration, food, snack, and a colored border that indicates where you are selecting. You can put a password on settings and edit to prevent accidental editing. All customizations can be backed up to Google Drive, Dropbox and/or iCloud, and there is the option to turn on auto backups every 7 or 15 days. There is no option for remote editing. Avaz previously had a feature called Avaz Live, but this does not appear to be currently available. CoughDrop is very customizable. If desired, you can start from scratch. All buttons can be individually edited, moved, hidden, or deleted, and new buttons can be added anywhere. You can choose between a white or black background. You can customize the color scheme using the Paint feature. Button spacing, border thickness, and the size of the message box can also be edited. You can choose a skin tone for symbols or select mix of skin tones. Text size and font can be edited as well as a choice between text above or below images. You can choose whether the message box displays symbols or text only. You can add or remove rows or columns from specific pages, but you cannot change the size of individual cells. There is the option of a side menu which can be customized. There are a number of different options available to customize how much is spoken, the option to turn on or off a clicking sound when selecting unspoken buttons, and the option for vibration on selection on certain devices. There are some available touch modifications including options for hold duration, and highlight button on selection. You can set up a pin for editing. CoughDrop automatically backs up to the user's account. Grids can be edited remotely via another device or desktop app, with the option for other people to become supervisors. There is also an option for remote modeling. Grid is very flexible and customizable. You can create your own grid from scratch if needed. All buttons can be individually edited, moved, hidden, or deleted, and new buttons can be added anywhere. You can change the background color of individual pages, or the whole grid. You can change the colors of individual buttons, or create a whole new color scheme. Button spacing can be modified. There are several different cell shape options available. You can select a skin tone for symbols. In Grid 3, the symbols themselves can be edited. Text size, font, and color can be edited, as well as a choice between text above or below images. You can add or remove rows or columns from specific pages, and individual cells can be resized. You can set grids to be self-closing, returning to the home grid upon selection. You can modify whether grid speaks each word, I need that, or only speaks when the message is complete. I need that. You can choose between having a speak button, or activating this by selecting the message box. There is no editing lock, but there is the option to hide the menu button via device settings. Customizations can be backed up via iCloud, Dropbox, OneDrive and other storage services. Grid also allows remote editing via a Windows device. LAMP has some customization options. All buttons can be individually edited, moved, or deleted, and new buttons can be added anywhere. However, I would caution against doing too much moving around, as this will damage the careful motor planning design of LAMP. You can change the color of individual cells. Button spacing, border color and thickness can also be modified. There is no option to change skin tone. Text size, font, and color can be modified, along with the options for bold and italics, and the choice of text above or below the symbol. You cannot modify grid size or the size of individual cells. You can choose what speaks, speaking every word.
I like to read.
Or by sentence.
I like to read.
And you can turn off or keep on the button click sound. There are some available touch modifications, including options for activate on release.
Yes.
And hold duration.
Go.
You can put a passcode on the menu to prevent accidental editing. You can back up your customizations via iCloud, Dropbox, and other options. There is no option for remote editing. Proloquo has quite limited customization. Existing buttons cannot be edited, moved or deleted. New buttons can only be added in certain locations. You cannot change the color of buttons or any of the text formatting. You can edit the default skin tone of people symbols. There is no option to change individual grid sizes or the sizes of individual cells. Button behavior can be modified to have no sound, a click,
I like books.
or speak words.
I like books. I like books.
There are no inbuilt touch modifications. The customization menu can be locked with a pin. Customizations can be backed up to Dropbox, Google Drive and other storage services. Proloquo has the ability to build a team. This allows others to access the user's Proloquo for free, allowing them to support with modeling on a separate device. Team members can be allocated the role of editor or admin, which allows them to also support with remote editing. Proloquo 2 Go is highly customizable. You can start from scratch if desired. All buttons can be individually edited, moved, hidden, or deleted, and new buttons can be added anywhere. You can choose between 3 pre-made color schemes, or you can create your own. The colors of individual cells can also be edited. You can change the background color of individual pages or the whole grid. Button spacing can be modified. You can select a skin tone for symbols. Text size, font, and color can be edited, as well as a choice between text above or below images. You can modify the grid size of individual pages. You can also choose to use list view. Individual cells cannot be resized. You can turn on snapback, which means that all buttons return to the home page upon selection. You can customize what is spoken, choosing between message buttons.
I want crisps.
All buttons.
I want food, snacks, crisps.
Or only speaking when you hit the message bar.
I want crisps.
There are some available touch modifications, including options for hold duration, select on release, and scanning.
Like,
You can hide access to edit mode, and can put a pin on the settings. Proloquo 2 Go can be backed up via Dropbox or Google Drive. Backups can also be exported to other storage services. There is no option for remote editing. SimPODD has some customization options. All buttons can be edited, or deleted, and new buttons can be added anywhere. You cannot move buttons around, although if you so desired you could delete a button and add it somewhere else. You can change the colors of individual cells. You can change the background color of specific pages. You can select a skin tone for symbols. Text size and font can be edited. You cannot change the size of pages or cells. You can customize what is spoken, choosing between message buttons.
she is happy.
All buttons.
Pronouns plus. She is feelings happy.
Or only speaking when you hit the message bar.
She is happy.
There are no inbuilt touch modifications. You can hide access to edit mode, and can put a passcode on the settings. SimPODD automatically backs up to iCloud each day. There is no option for remote editing. Speak for Yourself has some customization options. Core buttons cannot be deleted, but the symbol can be changed. All fringe buttons can be edited or deleted, and new buttons can be added in any folder. You cannot move buttons around, although you could delete a button and add it somewhere else. You can change the background color, and the color of the message window. The color of individual cells can also be changed. You can choose the character used for symbols. The size of the text in the message box can be modified, and you can choose whether to display symbols or not. You cannot change the text on the buttons. There is no option to change grid size or size of individual symbols. There is no setting to change what is spoken, but there is an option to mute while you compose the message. I think I think it is good. You can choose between activation on initial touch or after your finger is lifted. You can lock programming to prevent accidental settings changes. Customizations can be backed up via Dropbox, email, AirDrop or device files. There is no option for remote editing. TD Snap is highly customizable. All buttons can be individually edited. Moved, hidden, or deleted. And new buttons can be added anywhere. The colors of individual cells can be edited. You can change the background color of individual pages or the whole grid. Button spacing can be modified. You can select a skin tone and hair color for symbols, or select diverse. You can edit individual symbols. Text size, font, and color can be edited, as well as the option to make the text bold. There is also the choice between text below, above, to the left, or to the right of the image. You can choose whether or not to display symbols in the message window. On some page sets you can modify the grid size of individual pages. Individual cells can be resized. You can choose whether each word speaks,
I need to go.
or only the message window.
I need to go.
There are a number of available touch modifications including touch enter or touch exit,
See,
auditory touch,
Help. Stop.
see,
and scanning.
Message bar. Page. Quick fires. Keyboard. Word forms. Dashboard. What? She.
she,
You can set a passcode on edit mode. Customizations can be backed up to MyToby Dynavox. TouchChat is highly customizable. You can create your own grid from scratch if needed. All buttons can be edited, moved, or deleted, and new buttons can be added anywhere. You can change the colors of individual cells. Button spacing, border color, and border thickness can also be modified. You can select a skin tone or select random. Text size, font, and color can be modified, along with the options for bold and italics. You can resize the message window and can choose whether or not to display symbols. You can add or remove rows or columns from specific pages, and individual cells can be resized. You can choose what speaks, speaking every word. I want to play, or by sentence. I want to play. You can also turn on a button click sound. I go. There are some available touch modifications including options for activate on release, finish, and hold duration. Finish. You can put a passcode on the menu to prevent accidental editing. You can back up your customizations via iCloud, Dropbox, and other options. There is no option for remote editing. Weave Chat has some customization options. All buttons can be edited. Moved. Or hidden. Buttons can be added in most locations. On the default scrolling board they cannot be added to the home page. You can choose between light or dark mode. You can choose the colors of new buttons, but cannot modify existing button color. The size of all buttons can be changed, and border width can be modified. The size of text across all buttons can also be edited. You can choose whether to show symbols in the message bar. There is no option to modify grid size or resize individual symbols. You can customize what is spoken, choosing between message buttons. I like music. All buttons. I like activities, music, or only speaking when you hit the message bar. I like music. There are no inbuilt touch accommodations. You can lock editing to prevent accidental settings changes. Customizations are automatically backed up onto your Weave account. Weave Chat allows remote editing via the Weave Chat Connect website.